Zair?
Yes, sir.
Start करो फिर.
Yes, sir. Start, sir.
जी. Okay जी. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Everybody is welcome. The announced schedule for conducting the Viva or the quiz that has been rescheduled, and that will be as per the information or observations conveyed by your CRs. So I will be conducting it on campus when you will be returning back to the campus, inshallah. But you will not be getting any time for your preparation. Once it is announced, then the next time it will be conducted. ठीक है उज़ैर?
Yes, sir. ठीक है.
हाँ, कोई टाइम नहीं मिलेगा, मतलब जैसे ही मैं उसको अनाउंस करूँगा इंशाल्लाह तो वो कंडक्ट हो जाएगा. ओके, ये रिकॉर्ड शुरू कर दे, ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Okay जी. Today we are going to find out the bulk density of the material. Bulk density of the material. This is very similar to the job that might have been taken up by you in Geotech 1, I think so. So as you know, density is the mass per unit volume. Bulk means large. So if and density is mass per unit volume. So mass certainly that will give वो mass जो है वो आपको पता है कि mass किसी भी body का जितना आप इसको वे करेंगे और इसको अगर आप g के साथ मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे तो ये वेट बन जाएगा. लेकिन जनरली जो है ये उसी को ही हम लेते हैं, mass kg में जो है उसको रिप्रेजेंट किया जाता है. तो bulk density means mass over volume. Now, if you are having a container, it will be having certain volume, certain, okay? And if you include, just hold on please. So this bulk density, if you are having any container, certainly it will be having some volume. So just if you pour the aggregate in that container, then certainly there will be the space between the aggregate particles. There will be, at this stage I would suggest, rather I will say, everybody must have the class notes register. Class notes register, please. All the things are not written in the lab report that has been shared with you. So the description that will be given by me, that should also be reproduced according to your desire as per your will in your own words. So please keep class notes registered with you. Now, when you pour the aggregate in the container, there will be the space between the aggregate particles. If we consider that volume between the volume of the space between the aggregate particles, and we consider it collectively, volume occupied by the aggregate simply, and volume occupied by the space between the aggregate particles, total volume, then it is known as bulk density. Now density is also known as, its other name is unit weight. And from this we can also find out, we can also have the idea about the voids of the aggregate. If the density is more, it means voids are less. If density is less, voids are more. It is very simple. So this will be conducted for fine grain and for coarse grain particles as well. So as you know that if we segregate or if we classify the aggregates, coarse and fine, then coarse aggregate is an aggregate which is having size greater than 4.75 and that will retain on CU number 4, whereas fine grain aggregate means having less than 4.75 millimeter size, and that is passing through CU. That is very simple. That is known to you. And what is the significance? It should be noted that this is very important job, and at the end of this job, you can have an idea about the density, about the gradation of the material, from this information. You can also uh, justify. You can also have idea about the poorly graded soil or the material, well graded material, and uniformly graded material. All this information can be obtained, can be assessed by after conducting this job. Okay? Now, all this thing is very helpful in finalizing the mix design. It should be noted. It will be very helpful in finalizing the mix design. And at the start of this lab, I told you in early lectures, I told you that this the basic outcome, result, benefit of conducting this PRC1 lab jobs is to finalize the mix design. And mix design includes the proportion of the aggregates, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, weight of the water. Okay. Similarly, for the weight of the cement, and also any other admixture. Okay. If needed. In normal concrete, normally vibrated concrete, conventional it is, which is also known as conventional concrete. In the conventional concrete, you need to have idea about the weight of the different materials. Simply the sand, crush, cement, and weight of the water. In conventionally vibrated concrete, you need all these information. And also, once you have found the density of the aggregate using this information, you can prepare the mix design according to ACI code. ACI has launched the procedure for finalizing the mix design. From finalizing mix design means proportioning or weights or volumes of different ingredients. ठीक है, जो मतलब वो ये जो हम फाइनल करेंगे, that will define the mix design. So there are curves are there which have been finalized, standardized by ACI, and having the information with you about the density of the aggregate, you can finalize the mix design. So this is very important as regards to the mix design is concerned. This information is also very important. So as is written over there, during the concrete mix design, aggregates are batched by volume weight, and it is necessary that the mass of aggregate that fills the container must be known to you. And if we know the bulk density, then we can easily determine the mass required to fill a unit volume container. So it means you will be having some container, and you will pour the aggregate inside, and then you will weigh it. Now this mass divided by the volume of the container, which it will give you the bulk density of that material. So it indicates the percentage weights which are present in the material. This percentage affects the grading. Is it the poorly graded, gap graded, uniformly graded or well graded material. So percentage of voids that defines the gradation of the material, and this has been carried out. This has been detailed in the last lecture. You know it very well. Then the other significance is that it indicates the compactive effort. What does it mean? That during the compaction, what effort is required to compact it completely? It will be compactive effort means for the compaction of the material, what effort has been utilized. It means compactive effort. To compact the concrete. So it will also be telling you about the effort which is needed for complete compaction of the concrete. So this is the significance. So as far as scope is concerned, we will be finding out the density for the coarse aggregate as well as for the fine aggregates. And certainly it is very simple. So as far as the material equipment is concerned, balance is needed. Having these dimensions, similarly tamping rod is needed, having these dimensions, and there should be balance and the shovel or scoop with the help of which you can pour the aggregate inside this container. So bulk density is the mass of unit volume of bulk aggregate material. Bulk means voids between the spaces between the aggregate particles. Those are also included in considering the volume that will be dividing the weight of the aggregate to find out the density. So there is another terminology, absolute density, where this is the mass per unit volume of individual particles. This means you will negate the presence of the voids between presence of the voids between the particles. There are voids as well within the aggregate particles, and the material becomes permeable. Material becomes permeable. So if you exclude the voids between the aggregate particles, then the resulting density will be absolute density. How can you find out the volume of the voids between the aggregate particles? Just fill it with the water. Then what will be the area, the volume that will be taken up by the individual aggregate particles, and when it is and aggregate particles, volume taken up by the aggregate particles, and volume taken up by the total volume, total aggregate. The difference between this one will give you the volume occupied by the water of the spaces between the aggregate particles. So this is known as absolute density. Now, effects, as far as the effects are concerned, if the size, it will be depending upon the size, distribution, and shape. All these things are necessary to be considered. Size of the particles, it means there should all sizes of the particles should be present. If only uniform size particles are present, in the sample, there will be number of spaces and more space will be left over there. And if all sizes of the particles are present, then it is a well-graded material and least spaces will be left between the aggregate particles. And certainly, it will be giving you better density. Is that ठीक?
Yes, sir. ठीक है.
मैं किसी भी वक्त जो है ये मैं आई मे चेक योर प्रेजेंस So at any time, must be vigilant. मैंने इसकी अटेंडेंस जो है ना वो मैंने ख़त्म कर देनी है और ये मैं यहाँ पे नोट कर सकता हूँ ताकि अगर ये अटेंडेंस लगा भी दे तो मैं उसको एब्सेंटी लगा दूँ उसकी, इसलिए ज़रा मोहतात होकर बैठना। So these are the parameters which are affecting the bulk density, size, distribution, and shape of the particle. If all the particles are rounded, more space will be over there. If that is angular, then least space, because the wires, those may also be taken up by the pointed edges of the aggregate. So the size, distribution, and the shape of the particles, those are very important to be considered when you are defining the bulk density or you are going to find out the bulk density. So if the particles are of same size, it can be packed into limited extent. So wires get filled well with them, and thus the bulk density will increase. So this is very simple, and you can also have that idea about the degree of packing. If all sizes of the particles are present, it means the degree of packing will be good. So as far as the bulk density types of bulk density are concerned, there are three types of bulk density. Okay. First one is loosed bulk density. Loose bulk density. Loose bulk density. Second one is compacted bulk density. Second one is compacted bulk density. Okay. Compacted bulk density. And the third one is jigging bulk density. Jigging bulk density. This is jigging bulk density. This is jigging bulk density. So these three are the different types of different ways of expressing the bulk density. Now, if we talk about the first one, loose bulk density, as this word is simply stating that it is regarding the loose material. What is that? What is the procedure? This is a container. This is a container. All dimensions are written over there. Diameter, length means height, and this is the weight, and this is the volume. Okay? What will you do? Just you will simply fill the material, and without applying any compacting effort, without applying any compaction, without applying any effort onto the material for its filling in the cylinder, it will be known as loose material. It will be known as loose material. What will you do? Just you will be filling it up with the material, and you will weigh the material. After getting the weight of the aggregates which have been used to fill this cylinder, divided by volume of this cylinder, will be giving you the loose bulk density. What is that one? This is what will you do? First of all, you will weigh the empty cylinder that is given over there. Volume is also given over there. That is written on the face of the cylinder, and then you will fill the material. You will get the total weight of aggregate plus aggregate plus weight of the cylinder, and you will subtract the weight of empty container. It will give you the weight of loose aggregate divided by the volume of this container. This is very simple. So this will give you loose bulk density. Loose bulk density. And what is compacted bulk density? That is given over there. You can see. What will you do? You will fill this container. You will fill this container. Okay? You will fill this container with the aggregates in 3 layers. In 3 layers. First layer, second layer, and third layer. Complete. For every layer, you will apply 25 strokes using this tamping rod. Using this tamping rod, and the way and the dia and the length that is given over there. This is the tamping figure of the tamping rod. So what will you do? You will fill the third layer, one third layer, then second, third, and then the total uh, third layer. And you will apply 25 number of strokes to each layer, evenly distributed on the surface of the aggregate. And then you will weigh the material, means you will on the same weight of the container plus compacted aggregate minus weight of empty container, it will give you compacted aggregate. Weight of compacted aggregate divided by the volume, it will give you the compacted bulk density. Compacted bulk density. Anybody which may be having any confusion is welcome to put any question. If you are having any ambiguity or confusion. Yes, Bilal Mirza. Bilal. Bilal.
Yes, sir.
हाँ भाई समझ आ गई बात की?
Yes, sir.
कोई क्वेश्चन कोई आपको
नो सर, एक दफा रिवाइज करेंगे तो फिर क्लियर हो जाएगा।
तो अभी भी यार रिवाइज की जरूरत है वैसे, मतलब जितने स्लोली और कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। हमामा.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there any confusion or any question?
No, sir.
Okay. 56. Shabash. 56.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Any
sir.
confusion? Any question? Any ambiguity?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Everybody is warmly welcomed. Welcomed. This is your duty to make you satisfied. This is our duty. Please. Don't show your hesitation. Don't feel shy. Put any question which is relevant, even if from the field as well. If you have observed any discrepancy or any confusion, you are having any confusion about our about the teaching or the information that is being delivered to you in this lab and practically, that may also be pointed. Please. Anis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ayan.
Yes, sir.
Shabash. Laiba.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay, everything?
Yes, sir.
Zaim. He is being removed from the session. Okay. Umar Pervez.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Shabash. Okay. So this is regarding the loose bulk density and compacted bulk density. The third one that is not detailed in your lab report, that is known as jigging bulk density. Jigging bulk density. What is this one? Jigging is basically it means just to give a jerk, झटका देना, ठीक है? Jigging उसको कहते हैं. And what is the procedure? Procedure is that you will, this is the third one, you will fill the container in 3 layers and you will not be using the rod for its compaction. You will not be using the rod. And what will you, how can this be? Then how can we can find this density. You will fill it in first layer. Then this side, keeping this mold in contact with the base on the table or on the floor, one side, left side, may be lifted up, and it will have declination. It will show you tilting in this direction. You can see this by this mouse pointer जो है. So this will be lifted up. ठीक है, ये ऊपर लिफ्ट हो जाएगा और it will show you declination. It will show you some sort of declination or tilting on this direction, right side पे, and then you will release it after lifting to certain height. You will allow it to fall freely. So this will give a jerk to the material for its readjustment within the container. Then you will lift the right side up, you will tilt it leftward, and then you will release it. You will allow it to fall freely, keeping in view that the base is in contact with the floor, base is in contact with the tabletop. So the same, it means for one layer you will apply 50 jerks, 25 on one side, 25 on the other side. So total 50 jerks will be applied on each layer. Then you will fill the second layer. The same procedure will be adopted, keeping in view that the base of the container must not leave the floor. So it must remain in contact with the floor or tabletop. So the same approach will be adopted for the top layer. After you have filled and applied these jerks, then you will level the top of the container. Loose material will be dropped off, and then you will weigh it. Then the weight of the material divided by the volume of the container will give you that density using the jigging procedure. Then your observations and calculations are very simple. If you are having the coarse aggregate, it means you will have you will find the bulk density using three approaches: compacted, loose, and jigging bulk density. And the table contains the weight of cylinder, that will remain same. Volume of the cylinder, that will remain same. Weight of cylinder plus aggregate. From this one, you can find out the weight of aggregate, or weight of cylinder minus weight of cylinder plus aggregate minus weight of cylinder. It will give you the weight of aggregate. Volume is known to you, so this weight divided by this volume will give you the bulk density. This will give you the bulk density. So up till now, if there is any confusion or any question, everybody is welcome. Up to you. Ali. Ali, you are being removed. Ehtisham?
Yes, sir.
Okay. कोई है आपको, आपके कोई सवाल कोई पूछना हो और कोई
सर
कंफ्यूजन
एक
हो?
क्वेश्चन है,
जी
ऐसा ये 25 फ्लोज कांस्टेंट होती है कंपैक्शन के लिए?
हाँ जी, ये कांस्टेंट।
ओके सर।
हाँ जी, ये एज पर ASTM और ACI specifications. You will have to follow the same. जी, welcome everybody. Any other? Please, Nisar, 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 being
Sir,
removed.
sir, Freehan, sir.
अच्छा, Freya Nisar, sorry. Freya Nisar, okay. Haris, Haris,
Yes, sir.
thank you. कोई मसला, कोई बात पूछने वाली?
No, sir.
Hamza, Niaz, Hamza, you're welcome. Okay. So till this stage, you are having no observations, so we will move further. Now you can see compact density of that is obtained through compacted effort, that will be more as compared to the other ones. So what will you do? You will have prepare a bar chart for the comparison purpose. You will prepare a bar chart, and then considering the minimum value as reference, you will tell that this is ये जो है compacted इतने परसेंट ज़्यादा है डेंसिटी इसकी, और लूज की इतने परसेंट डेंसिटी है। तो जो जो मिनिमम वैल्यू होगी उसके मुताबिक आपने बताना है। तो यू विल सी दैट the loose density, that will be the minimum value, that will give you minimum value, then jigging, and then at the top compacted density, that will be more maximum. So compacted, then jigging, then loose density. So this way you will be preparing that bar chart for all these three states, and you will compare up to what is the percentage maximum value, how much higher bulk density is for the compacted and the jigging procedure. अय्यान, क्या मसला है तुम्हें? हाँ जी. So this is the way you will be performing the job. Any confusion, any information that is required by you, most welcome. Ali, very simple. Uzair,
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी, ये बेटा ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, जुनैरा, जुनैरा, जुनैरा,
Yes, sir.
इतना लेट क्यों आप रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं? मतलब मैं आपको रिमूव कर दूं, ये क्या मसला है? अच्छा जी, और हसीब, हसीब, अब्दुल हसीब,
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी, कोई मसला, कोई बात पूछनी हो, कोई आपको कंफ्यूजन हो, बगैर हेजिटेशन के, यू आर वेलकम. एवरीबॉडी इज वेलकम. एवरीबॉडी इज वेलकम. हाँ जी, अरीमा, 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 she is being removed. Arima, okay. Fida, but Fida, but Fida, but
Yes, sir.
okay. हसन सज्जाद, हसन सज्जाद,
Yes, sir.
शाबाश। लाइबा, लाइबा,
Yes, sir.
okay. Is there any confusion or is there any question that needs to be?
No,
हाँ
sir.
जी, ओके। सो हाँ भाई उज़ैर ठीक है। तो ये जो है
Yes, sir.
जब when you will be returning back inshallah, then the very next lecture will be consumed for conducting the viva or the quiz, whatsoever is the reference for review. So you must get ready for every approach, for any approach. तो ठीक है, कल इंशाल्लाह ये क्लास फिर नहीं होगी, आज ये मैंने ले ली है, तो इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट टाइम वी विल मीट। ठीक है उज़ैर,
Yes, sir. ठीक है।
आप ये अटेंडेंस लगे।
Yes, sir.
थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।